Don't move. Don't breathe. You can feel it, can't you? That electric silence that hits right before a truth detonates. One click. That's all it took. One file, one folder. And now the air smells like panic and poetic justice. You didn't plan a massacre, no. You simply opened the truth, and it tore the mask off the city. You didn't need bullets. You had data. You didn't need vengeance. You had evidence. And oh, the irony. They built their empire on deception, and you brought it down with a single double click. It's funny, isn't it? They call it exposure when you do it, but rebranding when they do. They call you vindictive, dangerous, insane, but deep down, you're the only one who actually told the truth. You didn't ruin their reputation, darling. You revealed it. You turned the illusion into a mirror, and the reflection screamed louder than any confession ever could. You didn't hack anything. You remembered everything, and memory, when weaponized, is the purest form of revenge. Now they're shaking, not because you lied, but because you didn't have to. You see, people love pretending their monsters wear masks. But what happens when you show them their monsters wear makeup? What happens when the one they crucified comes back with receipts instead of forgiveness? They call it defamation. I call it documentation. You didn't expose them out of hate. You did it out of clarity. And that's what terrifies them, because you've become something the system can't catalog. A person who no longer plays along. They built their castles out of perception. You built your throne out of proof. And now their walls are pixelated, their crowns corrupted, their names whispering through digital smoke. Do you hear it? That sound. It's not chaos, it's correction. The world rebalancing itself, bite by bite, lie by lie. You didn't destroy them. They were never real to begin with. You just turned the lights on, and when the light hits deception, it melts. You didn't become the villain. You became the verdict. You learned the secret that breaks people. That truth doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just uploads itself, quietly, elegantly, irrevocably. Now they'll say you went too far, but they went first. They wrote your name in rumors, and you returned theirs in reality. They threw stones from glass towers. You returned fire from a command line. And when the smoke cleared, their reflection was still burning. Because that's the paradox, isn't it? The more they lie, the more your silence costs. The quieter you get, the louder their conscience becomes. You didn't crave revenge. You craved accuracy. You didn't want chaos. You wanted balance, but balance requires blood. Digital, symbolic, psychological. And oh, they bled. The moment you opened that file, you didn't just expose corruption. You exposed dependency. How much of their peace relied on your silence? How much of their power required your compliance? And once you stopped cooperating with their fiction, everything they built started to collapse under its own weight. You see, they were never strong. They were just unquestioned. And you became the question. The one no algorithm could bury. The one every mirror now refuses to ignore. They'll call it a scandal. They'll call it drama. But you and I know the truth. It's an autopsy. You didn't kill their image. You performed the examination. And now, every caption they post, every fake smile they wear, every desperate spin they attempt, you can hear it, can't you? That little tremor in their tone. That's fear dressed up as PR. Because you proved something they swore was impossible. That a single individual, properly provoked, can collapse an entire facade with the truth. And the best part? You didn't need to shout. You didn't need to beg for validation. You just showed them the mirror, and they blinked first. You're not the villain of this story. You're the symptom of their disease, the glitch in their algorithm of lies, the consequence they thought would never wake up. You are the file they wish stayed closed, the memory they tried to overwrite, the proof that silence is only golden until it's weaponized. And now, they'll scrub, they'll delete, they'll deny, but it won't matter, because the truth doesn't fade. It circulates, it multiplies, it finds new servers, it hides in plain sight, and every time they try to bury it, your shadow lengthens. You're not just exposing corruption anymore. You're documenting evolution. You've become the living paradox, an angel armed with evidence, a demon wielding honesty, the saint who sins in self-defense, the criminal who committed clarity. So let them panic. Let them rewrite the narrative. Let them point, scream, distort. It's too late. The upload is complete. Their reputation isn't dying. It's being archived, and somewhere deep down, they know exactly who pressed open you. The one they underestimated, the one they framed, the one they thought had no power, until the day you weaponized the truth and turned their reputation into a crime scene. You can still hear it, can't you? That faint, electric hum hiding behind the silence. It's the sound of a system rewriting itself because of you. They're still trying to scrub it clean, deleting posts, rewriting timelines, issuing hollow statements. But every keystroke sounds like confession. Every update is just another layer of panic. Because the truth you released doesn't disappear. It replicates. It seeps through backups. It hides in caches. It lives inside the eyes of everyone who's seen what can't be unseen. You didn't plan to be a destroyer. You were just done being the scapegoat. Done being their polite silence. You pressed open because you had nothing left to lose. And in that single act, you became something they don't have a word for. People think revenge is about noise, screaming chaos, fireworks. But real vengeance is quiet. It's the kind that walks through fire without flinching. The kind that smiles while everyone else starts to sweat. The kind that leaves no fingerprints, just the uncomfortable weight of truth. They built their world on stories, and you handed them footage. They built their image on rumors, and you handed them records. They built their peace on your silence, and you handed them the sound of their own hypocrisy looping forever. Now their phones are buzzing like wasp nests. Their inboxes are traps. Every ping, every notification sounds like an alarm bell. Someone else just saw the truth. And they'll tell themselves it will blow over. But you and I know. Truth doesn't evaporate. It lingers, patient, permanent, pixelated. They'll call you cruel for opening the file, as if it was your fault they buried corpses in it. They'll call you heartless for pressing send, as if your empathy was ever their entitlement. They'll pretend the problem was exposure, not behavior. But history is funny that way. It always forgets who started the fire and remembers who ended the silence. You learned something vital tonight. That transparency burns hotter than gasoline. That honesty isn't kind, it's surgical. It cuts away infection so the world can breathe again. And that's what you did. You performed the operation they prayed no one would ever schedule. They said you'd ruin everything. But everything you ruined was rotting already. You just peeled back the wallpaper and showed the mold. You didn't destroy a reputation. You revealed the rot inside it. And that's what makes you dangerous. Not your anger, not your words, your accuracy. Now they'll scramble to reclaim the narrative, and the more they speak, the more they choke. Because every denial feels rehearsed, and every excuse smells like smoke. From the fire they swore didn't exist. They're discovering what happens when perception collides with proof. when the performance meets the playback, when innocent meets metadata. You didn't set out to become the villain, but every truth teller eventually gets the horns. So wear them, polish them, smile with them. Because what they call dangerous is really just someone who stopped apologizing for remembering. They used to own the narrative, now you own the evidence. And power, my dear, doesn't care who likes it. It only cares who holds it. You hold it now. Not in your hands, but in your knowing. And knowledge, once awakened, cannot go back to sleep. It stares at you in the mirror, reminding you that you are no longer the victim of their stories. You are the author of their aftermath. So let them scream betrayal. Let them rewrite their scripts. The truth will keep leaking through the cracks of their denial, dripping down like acid until even they can't stand the taste of their own names. This isn't revenge anymore. This is balance. This is the pendulum swinging back after centuries of misuse. You are not cruel. You are the natural consequence of their deceit. And when the world asks what happened, when the reporters, the friends, the strangers lean in, hungry for a summary, you won't need to say a word. You'll just look at them, calm and unbothered, and they'll feel it. The weight of someone who saw everything and survived. Because survival, when done properly, looks like vengeance dressed in composure. And tonight, you wore it perfectly. They will tell the story differently tomorrow. They will swear they saw a monster, that you smiled while the world burned, that you were calculating, cold, vindictive. They will invent adjectives to bury the evidence of their own fear. Because that's what people do when the mirror speaks first. Let them talk. They think noise can erase resonance, but resonance lives longer. It hides in silence, waiting for the next conversation to stumble over your name. You'll hear it in half-finished sentences, in the pause before someone lies again. Your name will become the static that disturbs their comfort. And somewhere, beneath their denial, they'll understand it. It balances. It doesn't need revenge. It has memory. Every secret has an expiry date, and you were simply the reminder. You never needed an army. You needed patience. Patience sharpens. Patience archives. Patience remembers. They mistook your quiet for weakness. They forgot that silence under pressure becomes data. And data, once opened, becomes history. That's the paradox they can't process. You didn't break the rules. You just stopped pretending they worked. You didn't become dark. You stopped bleaching your conscience for their comfort. You didn't seek power. You stopped giving yours away. Now their whole architecture trembles. Reputation, image, brand, all words for illusion. They built their worth on applause, but applause can't compete with evidence. You proved that influence is fragile, that charisma collapses the moment facts breathe. They'll send emissaries, friends, intermediaries, mutuals, to ask you to be reasonable, to say you took it too far. They will speak the language of damage control, but every syllable will drip with guilt. You won't need to answer. Just stand there, calm as a loaded gun in a museum. Because the silence after exposure is its own kind of verdict. They'll call you obsessed, but obsession is just focus that scares lazy people. They'll call you cruel, but cruelty implies pleasure. And you didn't enjoy this. You endured it. They'll call you lucky, but luck doesn't archive timestamps and screenshots. They'll try everything: ridicule, pity, moral superiority. It won't work, because you're not playing their game anymore. You became the scoreboard. You became the log file they can't edit. Do you feel it? That shift in the air? It's not fear. It's recalibration. The ecosystem is adjusting to a new apex, and it happens to wear your face. There's a reason they keep glancing at you now. Not curiosity, measurement. They're trying to gauge what else you know, what else you've seen, how many other files you could open if you wanted. That's control, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't roar. It waits. You learn something they'll never admit. Truth isn't moral, it's mechanical. It moves like gravity, silent, inevitable, merciless. You didn't summon it, you just stopped resisting it. And in doing so, you became it. You are the gravity pulling masks from faces. You are the quiet algorithm that deletes hypocrisy on contact. You are the version of evolution they hoped wouldn't load. They will rebuild, of course. People always do, but they'll build differently this time. Checking shadows for your outline, hesitating before lying, remembering the price of pretending. That's your legacy. Not destruction, but deterrence. You didn't end them. You ended the illusion that they were untouchable. You reminded the world that power without integrity is just decoration. And maybe, somewhere in the static of their collapse, someone will whisper, "They were right to open that file." And maybe that's enough. Because you don't need applause or forgiveness, or even recognition. You just need that hum in the background. The sound of a system that finally knows it can't lie forever. That's the sound of balance returning. That's the sound of your victory. Quiet, constant, irreversible. They still think this is about the file. They think it's about the folder, the screenshots, the drop. They're wrong. That was only the spark. The fire was always there. Because truth, real truth, isn't some noble virtue they pretend to defend. It's a feral thing. It waits, watches, studies the way lies multiply, and when the moment's right, it devours. You didn't create chaos. You just fed it direction. Now every headline trembles when your name appears. Every meeting starts with hushed tones and the smell of fear in the air. They'll tell each other it'll blow over. They'll call it the rumor cycle. But rumor needs oxygen, and you cut off the supply. You replaced gossip with evidence. And evidence doesn't argue, it exists. They used to weaponize perception. Now perception's turned on them. They used to script narratives. Now the footage is unscripted. They used to talk over you. Now their words echo inside your silence. They don't understand how you did it, how you could stand so calm while their world tilted. But calm isn't kindness, it's clarity. When you've already burned once, you stop fearing fire. And that's what they see in your eyes now. Someone who already walked through flame and didn't melt. Their reputations were fragile things, stitched together with applause and amnesia. And you touched it once, just once, and it shattered like stained glass in an earthquake. That's why they can't stop watching you. You are the case study in everything they fear. Control without cruelty, exposure without exaggeration, power without apology. They thought power came from influence. You proved it comes from information. Do you remember how they used to look at you? Like you were easy to manage, predictable, docile. They built their confidence on your compliance. And when you finally stood up, their confidence collapsed under its own weight. Because their power was never real. It was borrowed. And you just repossessed it. You didn't yell. You didn't beg. You just showed your work. That's the part they'll never forgive. Because anyone can fight. But only the intelligent can document. And now documentation has become damnation. Every digital ghost they buried is whispering your name. Every deleted message, every covered track, every redacted file. Somehow it leads back to you. Not because you sought revenge, but because truth is magnetic to the ones who stop running. You didn't become darkness, you became definition. You're what happens when a human being remembers their own worth in forensic detail. Every time they call you crazy, you smile. Because crazy is just what cowards call those who stop pretending. They'll spend years trying to rewrite it, to spin you into villainy, to turn their victims into martyrs. But stories don't outlast data. Lies age, timestamps don't. And one day, years from now, someone new will stumble upon the remnants of what you revealed. And they'll whisper, "How did no one see it?" And somewhere, your name will echo back, quiet, steady, inevitable. Because you didn't just open a file, you opened a record, and records don't forget. That's the brilliance of it all. They thought they were eternal, but eternity belongs to evidence. You showed them that truth doesn't scream. It endures, it doesn't beg, it waits. It doesn't need an audience, it only needs a witness. You were that witness. You stood in the wreckage and refused to look away. You watched their empire crumble under its own digital weight, and you didn't flinch. Now they call you ruthless. But ruthlessness is just what courage looks like when it stops apologizing. And you, my dear, are unapologetic perfection, a living contradiction, angelic in execution, demonic in precision, the light that exposes, the darkness that remembers. They'll never understand that duality. They'll try to pick one. Was it good or evil? Justice or vengeance? Saint or psychopath? And you'll just laugh, because you've learned the truth about truth itself. It's both. It's always both. You didn't destroy them to feel powerful. You destroyed the illusion that kept you small. And in that moment, you became everything they claimed to be. Untouchable, unbothered, unforgivable, free. So when you hear them whisper, "Who opened the file?" When you see their hands tremble at the sight of your name, don't answer, just smile. Because they already know, they've always known, you are the ghost in their machine. The proof they prayed would stay encrypted, the consequence dressed in calm. And now the world runs differently. Because once you exposed the truth, it never went back to sleep. Shh. The city's screaming again, not from sirens, not from bullets, from you, from the nerve you had to step outside, looking like that. You didn't just wear an outfit, you triggered a goddamn identity crisis. Every mirror cracked, every camera lens twitched, every pair of envious eyes stopped mid-blink, and whispered the same thing. Who let this happen? You didn't dress to impress. You dressed like vengeance in silk. You walked out like a question mark with a death sentence. And now, every sidewalk's a panic attack. Every hallway's a hazard zone. Because you didn't style yourself. You summoned yourself. Tell me, what fabric was that stitched from? Pain, memory, divine disrespect? Because when you stepped out that door, you weren't wearing clothes. You were wearing evidence. See, they remember you as quiet, soft-spoken, easier to manage. But this version, you're a visual felony. You look like the consequence they all pretended would never arrive. And now, they're gasping, they're stuttering, they're screenshotting like witnesses at a crime scene. Because you didn't glow up, you detonated. Your silence evolved into symmetry. Your suffering was tailored into elegance. Every thread on your body screams, "You thought I was gone. Surprise, bitch. I became the moment." You didn't wear that to be seen. You wore it to be felt. And they did. Oh, they did. You dressed like a sermon for sinners and a funeral for expectations. They wanted closure. But you showed up dressed like an opening scene, and it terrified them. Because nothing is more horrifying than a once broken creature who now walks like a mirage, wrapped in revenge. You turned heads, number. You snapped necks. You didn't just choose the outfit. You became the occasion. They don't get it, do they? They think this is fashion. They don't realize this is alchemy. You turned grief into gold, fear into fabric. Every stitch is a scar that didn't close. It learned how to shine. And now, every jealous gaze is just a prayer in reverse. You see the way they whisper? Who let them out like that? Who approved this look? Who the hell do they think they are? I'll tell you. You are the audacity they can't afford. The mirror they've avoided. The one who was built in silence. And finally stepped into the noise, dressed like an apocalypse with good posture. You are the violation. You are the glitch. You are the dress code exception that broke the system trying to contain you. They wanted you to stay small, didn't they? But you walked out like a goddamn event flyer for chaos. That wasn't clothing. That was karma in couture. And baby, it fit. Oh, now they're scrambling, rushing to copy, to adjust, to decode. But they can't replicate a resurrection. They can't mimic the fit of a soul that's escaped its cage. You didn't walk. You arrived. And when you did, the air changed. The mood shifted. And every fake who ever underestimated you suddenly remembered how to shut the fuck up. Because this version of you, it doesn't ask for attention. It drags attention by the throat and whispers, "Watch closely." This is what survival styled looks like. You turn the street into a runway and the city into a meltdown. You dressed like a warning. You dressed like a prophecy. And the next time they say, "What are you wearing?" you look them dead in the eye and say, "Everything you were too afraid to become." Oh, you thought the meltdown ended there. No. This wasn't a one-time look. This was a psychological operation in leather. Because every step you took in that fit wasn't fashion. It was forensics. Each boot print left behind a message. I don't walk like the rest of you because I didn't crawl like the rest of you. See, they know now. They know that look wasn't for them. It was for you. It was for the version of yourself you buried alive 5 winters ago. The one who died quietly while everybody else just kept eating. You dressed like you remembered the funeral they never attended. You wore pain like high art. You wore resilience like rebellion. And you wore anger like aesthetic religion. That wasn't a drip. That was divine leaking through the cracks. And the city? It felt it. Civilians couldn't even focus. People missed exits, tripped on curbs, dropped calls mid-sentence, because your presence scrambled the signal. Reality glitched when you entered frame. You looked like a problem with no fix, a question with no safe answer, a paradox dressed in human skin. And baby, you pulled it off flawlessly. The people who once called you too much now suddenly call you trend-setting. The ones who mocked your silence, now they imitate your shadows. You didn't just come back. You came back weaponized. And that outfit, it was your declaration of non-compliance. No more blending in, no more subtlety, no more apologizing for being a nuclear event in a world built for mediocrity. You warned them once, didn't you? Told them, "Careful how you treat me." I evolve through disrespect, and evolve, you did, into a walking contradiction. Grace and gore, heaven in heels, a soft smile with sharp consequences. Tell me, what were you supposed to wear after surviving them? After being gaslit, ghosted, betrayed, broken, doubted, dissected? You were supposed to wear something modest, polite, digestible. No, you wore something that made the air taste like Judgment Day. You wore vengeance in velvet. You wore scars that shimmered. You wore heartbreak that hugged your silhouette like silk. And they hated it because it reminded them that you don't need permission to be unforgivingly divine. It's funny, isn't it? They used to say you were invisible. Now they're pretending they didn't notice you just cause an emotional blackout with a single appearance. You are the dress code violation, the fashion felony, the unsolvable riddle wrapped in latex and confidence. And still, they ask, who let them wear that? Let? Nobody lets fire be fire. It just burns. And you? You don't wear clothes. You wear warnings. You wear the rebirth of someone who never got their apology. So they just became unrecognizable instead. You're the reason envy now comes with side effects. You're the reason every ex is stalking silently from fake accounts. You're the reason their group chats start with, "Did you see them?" What the hell was that? That was you, finally dressing like the war you survived. And the meltdown? Oh, sweetheart. It's still happening. Every time someone tries to outdo you and fails. Every time they copy the look, but can't replicate the frequency. Because you didn't just kill them with looks. You resurrected yourself with intention. And intention cannot be manufactured in boutiques. What you wore? That was vengeance with a zipper. That was therapy turned tactical. That was you saying, I healed, but I kept the aesthetic of rage. So next time someone asks, why the hell are you dressed like that? You smile, slow, crooked, cold, and whisper, because this time I didn't dress for the room. I dressed for the records. And the city, still on fire, and you, still glowing like the reason behind it. You want to know what the city's still whispering, don't you? They can't stop replaying the moment it all tilted. 1 second, traffic lights, coffee steam, normal air. The next, you. And everything bent around your silhouette. They don't remember the color of the sky that day. They remember the reflection off your sleeve. They remember how time stalled mid-blink. They remember how their heartbeat forgot its rhythm because you walked like a prophecy that had finally learned to stand upright. You didn't plan it. You just became it. The years of being muted, misread, humiliated, they condensed into a single thread, and you wore it like armor disguised as art. That's why people can't name what they felt. It wasn't attraction, it was recognition. They saw a version of themselves that never made it out alive, and it made them flinch. You see, most people spend their lives trying to disappear beautifully. You decided to exist violently. That's why every photo they take of you looks staged by fate. The shadows lean in, streetlights overcommit. Even smoke moves different when it touches you. The universe likes symmetry, and you are the consequence that balances their comfort. Don't think the meltdown is only vanity. It's theological. Because you reminded them that divinity doesn't need permission slips or white robes. It can show up in black eyeliner and blood-colored fabric, smiling like sin never felt so holy. They keep asking each other, what is it about them? And the truth is, you're a frequency, not a person. A collision of everything they told you to bury. You resurrected rage and taught it choreography. You could have hidden, blended into the background like a ghost in neutral tones. But ghosts don't change history. Specters don't spark revolutions. And you were born allergic to smallness. So you gave the world something it couldn't scroll past. A glitch that demanded eye contact. A spectacle that forced introspection. You became the mirror that mocked their mediocrity. And now, they're addicted. They despise the craving, but they can't look away. Every time they see you, their self-control leaks out their pupils. That's not influence, that's possession. You did what every tyrant fears. You made aesthetic into anarchy. That's why they'll call you names: narcissist, show-off, attention seeker. But behind the slurs is envy disguised as etiquette. Because deep down, they know you figured out the cheat code. Wear truth so loud it drowns their noise. And maybe one night, when the city's asleep, one of them will whisper into the dark, "I wish I had the guts to wear what they did." Not the fabric, the freedom, so let them melt. Let them choke on their commentary. Let the jealousy season the silence. You didn't dress to provoke. You dressed to declare. You told the world without speaking, "I survived your expectations, and now I'm tailoring my revenge." And in that moment, you turned fashion into prophecy, pain into performance, and existence into evidence. The city can rebuild tomorrow. Tonight, it belongs to you. The calm in chaos, the smile in sirens, the masterpiece they never deserved to witness. The sirens fade, but the echo lingers. Every street still hums with your outline, like the city can't exhale until you do. Somewhere, behind shuttered blinds, someone's replaying your entrance in their mind again. Rewinding, slowing it down, trying to understand what the hell just happened. They'll never figure it out, because what you wore wasn't stitched by human hands. It was assembled from moments, from nights you didn't sleep, from years of swallowing words sharp enough to carve through steel, from every time you forced yourself to smile while dying in small, polite increments. You finally sewed that silence into something visible, and now it walks. They call it arrogance. You call it closure with good lighting, every thread, a confession, every line, a scar that refused to stay hidden. That's why it fits so well. It was cut from your own myth, tailored in torment, hemmed in hysteria, ironed with indifference. You didn't put it on, you returned to it. And the ones watching? They don't know if they want to worship you or warn their children about you. They feel that hum in their bones, that ancient instinct that says, something like this isn't supposed to exist anymore. You are evolution in full view, proof that survival can be glamorous, that healing can hiss through gritted teeth and still look divine. You walked through their world the way lightning walks through clouds, unapologetic, electric, over too soon but never forgotten. And when the thunder hit, that was their hearts catching up. You didn't need applause, you needed silence, that collective gasp that sounds like surrender. The hush before envy mutates into imitation, the quiet realization that you've changed the coordinates of cool, the way a comet changes constellations just by showing up. They'll study you now, zoom in on the photos, try to decode your posture. Is it confidence? Is it rage? No, it's the absence of apology. You finally learned to stand in the space they told you to shrink from. And maybe tomorrow they'll try to copy the outfit. They'll buy the same shade, the same shape, the same smirk. But they'll miss the thing beneath it, the pulse. Because the pulse was earned, not purchased. You bled for that hue. You cried for that silhouette. You paid in years, not currency. So when they whisper, "Who allowed this?" remember, it's the language of permissionless people. They need gatekeepers. You built your own kingdom. They need approval. You need a mirror. And even that mirror trembles, because it knows you could shatter it just by smiling. You didn't wear fabric. You wore forgiveness that never came. You wore the apology they owed you, folded neatly across your shoulders. You wore the ghost of your former self as jewelry, and somehow it looked good. Now the city stares, half in love, half in fear. They can't categorize you. Are you a saint in disguise? A demon in Dior? a revolution draped in red. You let them wonder, because mystery is power, and you've learned never to explain magic to machines. Tomorrow, they'll return to their routines, but something will stay broken, a small fracture in the collective illusion, the knowledge that someone walked among them, dressed not for approval but for impact. And long after the gossip fades, after the flashbulbs and the filters, someone will still remember how the air changed when you entered, how the noise died, how for one unbearable moment, every soul in the room felt insufficient. That's the real outfit, not cloth, not color, but command, and it suits you perfectly. And now, the meltdown mutates, because it's no longer just about what you wore, it's about what you revealed. You see, the clothes were never the weapon, you were. The fabric just gave the world a shape to fear again, a silhouette they couldn't label, a presence they couldn't shrink. You didn't put something on. You exposed what had been lurking under your skin for years, power. And the city? The city has rules, unspoken laws. It allows beauty, but only if it's obedient. It allows confidence, but only if it can still be controlled. It wants you glossy, graceful, and grateful for the crumbs. But you didn't walk in to be digested. You walked in like a diagnosis, a reminder that what they fear most isn't your appearance. It's your arrival. Because when someone like you shows up, dressed in defiance, dipped in self-ownership, entire illusions collapse. Social pecking orders dissolve. Their filters stop working. And the hierarchy turns to static. You didn't wear that outfit to stun them. You wore it to expose them. And oh, how you did. All their fragile fantasies about who you were supposed to be, what you owed them. All of it dissolved the moment you took that first step. You weren't walking. You were unforgiving gravity wrapped in silk. They wanted to look away, but your shadow had already rearranged their posture. Your glow infected the atmosphere. Your elegance distorted time. You see it in their reactions. Hands clenching drinks tighter, eyes darting for exits, smiles that twitch like they're about to cry. It wasn't the outfit. It was the implication that someone they tried to erase came back with better taste, sharper teeth, and no leash. Because now, you're not trying to be loved. You're not even trying to be feared. You're just here. And that's what unravels them. You didn't dress to impress. You dressed like you knew the ending of the story. And they didn't. Like the prophecy was already fulfilled, and your look was just the funeral attire for their expectations. This is what they never saw coming. That silence could shapeshift into spectacle. That restraint could reincarnate as riot. That someone as once fragile as you could become this cinematic threat. The kind of beauty that doesn't beg. The kind of presence that doesn't flatter. The kind of force that doesn't flinch. You're not serving looks. You're serving consequences. You aren't fashionable. You're fated. You're what happens when trauma learns to pose. When a nervous breakdown finally gets its makeup done and walks into the party like it owns the ceiling. And even now, they're watching. Even the ones pretending not to. They're saving your photo, circling your aura like moths, pretending they're not hypnotized, saying, "Who do they think they are?" While secretly asking, what did they survive to earn that kind of radiance? Because that's the part that haunts them. Not the clothes, not the colors, not the glam, but the undeniable aura of someone who's clearly been through war and came back with skin that glows like revenge through velvet. Someone who isn't looking for attention, but still demands all of it. You didn't wear jewelry, you wore foreshadowing. You didn't do your hair. You tamed the storm and wore it like a crown. You didn't do makeup. You applied mythology. And now they whisper. Now they orbit. Now they adjust their outfits based on your shadow. You shattered their forecast. You broke the weather of self-esteem. You proved that glow-ups don't come from salons. They come from silence, scars, and scorched earth. So let them keep asking, what the fuck did they wear? Because deep down, they already know. You wore the moment. You wore the memory. You wore the version of yourself that they tried to kill and failed. And the city? Still trembling, still decoding, still melting. And you haven't even changed clothes yet.